Welcome to another episode of Bench Press and Business with me, Martin, and Dan. Luckily and hopefully, they can all see us both together this time.
Fingers crossed.
It's took for ages for us to understand, well, not for us, for Dan to get his head round.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, how to have us both on at the same time, so it's not flitting from one to the other. So hopefully that's what everyone can see. Today we're going to touch on a little bit of us and what we do, or what we currently do now, because we don't think we've touched on that a lot. And then we're going to go through a little bit of vision, mission statements, and touching into the beginning of the business a little bit. So we'll get cracking, mate. And it's a good one, this, because it's just us two, and it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable when it's just interviewing people and that. So where should we start?
Probably with where we're at now, mate. What we're getting up to. So just a bit of a chat on what we do our day to day. Really, we touched on our journey a little bit in the first episode and some of the past episodes. Obviously, you've had guests and stuff dropping on now. So yeah, just give everyone an insight into what we're doing now, what our roles are, and what we're up to.
Sweet, mate. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So day to day, our roles in the industry, if you were to look at job titles, PT mentors. So we work and spend a lot of time with. So there's multiple layers to that. Really, we spend a lot of time working with personal trainers, and historically have spent a lot of time working with personal trainers to develop their businesses. And when we say develop their businesses, that's not just necessarily looking at it from an incomes point of view, as in how can I make more money, although that is a big part of it. But making sure that the money they're bringing in is relevant and they get out of their business what they want to get out of it. So a phrase you'll probably hear me say 1,000,001 times is having your business work for you rather than you working for your business. And again, there's loads of layers to that. So revenue is one, time management is another, although that's probably a completely full episode in itself to talk about time management and what that means. But that could be marketing strategies. It could just be how you can even self-develop and make sure that the direction you want to go in is one that you not only will make money from but enjoy. I think that's a big passion, and something that we talk about a lot between ourselves is every single day waking up in the morning and not regretting going to work or fearing going to work or feeling like shit going to work, isn't it? Like it's a massive one for us, that to get out of bed and buzz every day. So that's the start. From a PT point of view, that's the majority of what we do. There's obviously other layers to that, which I'm sure Martin will go for it, mate. You can tell them the other bits in terms of managers and clubs and stuff.
Yeah. So, well, what we'll say is we touched on a little bit earlier in the very first podcast about how we first got put together, didn't we? On a project. So very similar to Dan, myself, I went from PT into management and realizing that you have a vision of when you walk in the door, what you want your club to say for you and what you want your members to say. Along with that is the kind of vision and journey that you want to take your PT team on with. So that was the beginning part. So I did that with another company. Then from there, moving over with Pure Gym, who we're both with now, and then doing exactly the same. So multiple sites, going in, creating an environment and a culture with a group of PTs that are looking to develop a business and succeed, whether the long-term goal is to stay commercial or to go online or open their own unit or whatever it is. And then from there, we got put on that project together where it was on a wider scale. So instead of just doing what we do for the one club, whether that's 10 PTs or 28 PTs under one roof, we then worked on a region of, well, mate, I can't even remember how many PTs it was, to be fair.
Yeah, it was a fair few, mate. Because it was the new launch, wasn't it? It was the rollout. So
yeah, and then from that, we went into the support of managers and supporting managers to, well, what we do now is supporting managers at creating a culture and an environment that like you just said, that the people enjoy being in and around, and then want to succeed and want to grow and build businesses within there. So it's kind of, it's not flipped full circle, but it's kind of like elevated, if that makes any sense. We're touching is a horrible way of saying I'm touching people, but we're expanding the type of knowledge and the type of culture that we're trying to build to show people that helps, and it's massively important. And when you get to those managers, some of them don't see that because they get caught up in all day-to-day duties and tasks. And one of the prime things for me is that's what helps the tasks move along smoothly.
To
where everybody needs to get.
Yeah, there's a mixture of reasons, isn't there, mate, that we've come across, really. And some of that is just that managers may have come from different backgrounds. They may have worked more focused on sales or finance or commercial sides of a business, which is great. And I think a lot of times managers don't realise just how transferable that is to running a PT business if they've not been there themselves and run one day to day. So we're kind of the bridge, really, between those two sets of people, and look at how we can help both sets learn from the other and transfer their skill sets if needs be. So whether that's a PT moving into management, whether that's a manager supporting a PT, whether that's a PT looking to grow a business so that they're making an income that they want to make and that allows them to live the life that they want to live.
There's one thing that we do say, isn't it, mate? Like you just said, transferable, and that's
your favourite word, that, mate.
My word of the year, and it's what's important about that is that these things that a PT comes into an industry for, and to run a business isn't necessarily the thing that they come into the industry to do, and what they get caught up in a little bit is how to manage and balance that with building a client base, having a service and products within a business to run with, and not knowing that. Whereas the manager of the facility or the gym or wherever, they do that on a daily basis. They're dealing with multiple products, they're dealing with multiple people, and they're trying to it's not spin plates because I don't like that phrase, but they're trying to manage and balance everything all at once in order for that to succeed, and for them to hit their KPIs, for them to be in profit, for them to enjoy the environment they're in, and all that kind of stuff. So I think that it is transferable, and it does work. So even if them managers aren't from that world, I think what I do is I try and get them to understand that they can help because of what they've got and the experience they've got from managing a facility or being a manager of people and of a club.
It's experience, isn't it? Drawing on those experiences. But I think that's a really key one. Obviously, we have students and stuff that come on board as well as part of the qualification academy. So you mentioned it a little bit there, but you see people that come through their qualifications and that level 2, level 3 qualification, and they have an image in their mind of what it's going to be like. And sometimes that can get a little bit distorted if they've not had necessarily input from others that maybe work in the industry currently, or maybe their tutor isn't necessarily used to working in a commercial environment or has worked in different areas or whatever else. Sometimes that vision that they have isn't clear. And that's something that we're going to go through quite a lot today, is how you can build out that vision, how you can understand that, and how you can nail it, really, how you can really have a clear focus of what you're coming into work to do and what you want to get out of your business. Like we've said, that seeing it as a business is number one, isn't it? But yeah, so touch on that, mate. What's your views on visions and how you've done that? And that can be a vision as a gym manager walking into a new club. That could be a vision of a PT running a business. That could be a vision of a CEO taking over a multi-million-pound company. However that looks, what sort of, how have you gone about supporting the managers with that we've helped recently?
I think firstly, it's feeling the environment. If I'm going in to support a manager, I'll go in and I'll have a feel for what the environment's like myself first, before I even sit and talk to them. And then I'll spend a good hour and 45 minutes just in and around speaking to the members of the teams there, looking at what the environment's like, how members interact, and if whether they do or not. And then once I've sat with the management, I kind of like asked the question, like if I was, well, I'm a member of your gym, what do you want? If somebody was to ask what's this? What does this mean to you? Or tell me your experience of this club. What do you think they'd say? And what do you want them to say? What would you want them to say? Do you know what I mean? So that, for me, then that takes away them thinking about hitting targets, hitting KPIs and stuff like that. It's more like a pride thing. What do they want from? What do they want somebody to say from the visit or the times that they've spent in the club? And usually, I find, I don't know about you, if you ask them what is your mantra, what's your mission statement or your vision statement, people don't have a clue or an idea. So I find that the best way to get them to do that is to ask the question, what would you want somebody to say about your facility and your club?
100%. That the vision for me is it's your idea of how you think things should be. What your ideal, it's your ideal scenario, isn't it? You're walking into a club, you're walking into an environment, you're walking into a business. In an ideal world, in a perfect world, how does that look? Describe that to me, explain it. And I think a lot of people get that mixed up with goal setting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're very, very similar, and I can see why people do that. But I think for me, the vision is almost something that is, well, we touched on it the other day. If you look at it in a broader sense, it can be quite broad. So if we talk about ours is to inspire and motivate fitness professionals to have better lives and more successful careers. So that's quite a broad statement, really. And it's almost going to constantly then affect everything else that we do, isn't it? Every single day. Because no one's ever going to have a perfect fitness career. No one's ever going to have a perfect life. So it's almost then the trigger and the overarching concept for us to sit here and say, right, how do we do that? And I think the vision has to be broad in a sense, because if you make it too specific, like if you take, I think it's Kodak as an example, like their original aim and original vision was to make photography accessible for everyone. Which is great. Like, it's unreal, because way back when you had to have one of those tripods, you had to have all of that hood, you had to have your little bird or whatever it was that like you had to have a lot of specialist equipment to be able to take a photograph. But they came along and they were like, right, how can we make this available and accessible for everyone? Creating films that slot into cameras, that moves across, so they've got hand up, and that was constant. Then they just continuously developed that. And if they would have continued in that vein, they would have, technology would never have even stopped them from where they wanted to get to. It would have just enhanced that, realistically. Because they could have looked at digital cameras, they could have looked at how they can merge that technology in with phones. And so that's just one example of Kodak, isn't it? But in our world, from a vision point of view, you've got, like, if that's us at the moment, over the past few weeks, we spent a lot of time talking to PTs, haven't we, about how they can use the technology that's available, and how they can continue to run their business and move their business forwards, and create different avenues and different streams and different ways of getting an income, rather than just face-to-face, because we can't do that at the minute. So if it wasn't for the vision of us being able to inspire and help these fitness professionals live better lives and have better careers, then we'd probably all be sitting on our hands at the minute, twiddling our thumbs, waiting for gyms to open up, right?
Yeah, mate. I think as well, the people are struggling with just routine in life.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are getting out of bed at 12, 1 in the afternoon, going to get some cornflakes, banging Netflix on, getting back in bed. That's their thing done. Do you know what I mean?
Game over, yeah.
But it's mad, mate, because I always ask a lot is what you're doing it for, on what do you want, like I think that touches on what's the outcome you want for your business, what are you doing it for, and more importantly, who's it for, and does it appeal to? You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't know that when they first go into it, because usually when people are trying to start or create or build a business from scratch, it's because it's a passion. So whether that be a PT or a girl who likes doing hair and makeup, all they think is, I want to make this what I enjoy doing a career. Yeah. And go, it excites me to do it. This is what I want to do. But who's it for? How's it going to appeal to them? And what are you going to put together, and what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think the default for people to switch to there is, I want to be the best. Do you get what I mean? Like, I want to be the best PT, or I want to run the best gym. I want to be known for having the best haircuts. I want to be known for having the best cameras. I want to be known for having the best sportswear. Like, great, but I could ask you what the best sportswear is, and you could ask me, and we both have completely different opinions. Like, for people to build in my opinion, for people to build a business based off of something that can be as fickle as someone else deciding you're the best is tough, because you can't measure that. Do you know what I mean? And although I think the vision should be almost unachievable, because that's what's going to keep you innovating, that's what's going to keep you moving forwards, that's what's going to keep you progressing, regardless of technology, regardless of which prime minister has been voted in, and whatever they say, whatever rules they set, regardless of the culture that's around at the moment. Like, those, regardless of any of that, your vision needs to be able to see through that and get through that. But then you've also got to have something that you can measure to see whether you're making those steps along the way. So you're almost then looking at goal setting completely differently, because it's checkpoints, isn't it? It's objectives, right? And that might be doing a survey, which is going to give you feedback to move forwards. But then again, like, I could just have a bad experience, and then I'm definitely not going to say you're the best, because you can't progress and move forwards and build something just to say that it's the best. How long is that going to last until the competition down the road come up with something new and fancy? Is that going to work for you long term?
Yeah, I think that, going back to the Kodak thing that you said a minute ago, is like, they looked at who's it for, does it meet their needs? Do you know what I mean? And what can we do to make it accessible and easy for everybody to use? Because everybody wants to do it. But how can we, or me, my organisation, my company, my little business, what can I do to give them that? And then I think that's where the goal setting comes from then. Because once you've got that and you understand that, and you maybe brainstorm it or whatever, you then start to see, right, here we go. Now we can start to plan and plot little, what you call it stepping stones. I call it a ladder. Like, so you start at the bottom of the ladder, you've got something there, you climb to that one. What's the next step? How do you get to that? And how do you've now starting to think a little differently, rather than, like you said, I just want to
be the best.
Passion. I just want to be the best at it. Do you know what I mean? That's what a footballer would say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's something that I buzzed off the other day, and it's what makes a good leader, or like, because if you're building a business, like we talked about with Matt on the last podcast, it's like it's building a culture and a community of individuals around you, and how do you do that? Where do you start? And I think goal setting is massive with that, because then you've got to have a vision, because you can't lead
as well, mate. Like, as well, having that vision. Like, if you're the leader of that business, or you're the person who's leading it, having that vision has to be something that people can buy into, and that people can be a part of, and people will sacrifice for. Like, there's people will call it a just cause. So that's another phrase that you can use for it. So something that I'm willing to sacrifice for, because I see the benefit of it long term. And that might be sacrificing initially a little bit of time. It might be sacrificing, I don't know, if it's a big business and you're, I don't know, the CEO of somewhere or whoever it is that's tuning in and listening. If you're at that sort of level, that vision has to be a just cause, that people might be willing to sacrifice going to a better paid job because they believe in the concepts and the ideas and you want to take what you've got. And that can be the same with a PT business. The people that come on, like there's two people, isn't there, really, that's going to be involved in this vision, and that's the people who contribute to it. So that might be the PT. It might be if they've got another PT working underneath them, or they network with a nutritionist, or they network with a GP, or they network with another professional or another specialist, or whatever that looks like. If they've got an overall vision and all of them are bought into that and tied into it, then it is going to move forwards and get towards there. But then you've also got the people that are going to benefit from that. So like you're saying, who's it for? Because ultimately that they're going to be looking at your company and your business saying, if I can recognize what their business vision is and that matches with me, that lights a fire in me, I want to be a part of that. I want to be included in that. I want to benefit from that. And ultimately, if people are benefiting from your vision and the direction that they're going in, then that's where your revenue comes in. And it's almost sometimes, I think, a bit of an unspoken topic, isn't it? Revenue and making money. Like a lot of people don't want to talk about that side of the business, but that's what you're in business for. So you've got
mad, mate, because
from it.
When I first started supporting and coaching PTs, I found that really difficult to talk about. When to help them with training programs and building rapport with people was easy, but to sit and say, right, let's have a look at your outgoings. Let's see how much you need to break even. Do you know what I mean? And let's see how much you're going to charge, how many sessions per week that is to break even. I found that difficult. So the start of the meeting would be, and this for me now, it's like I can't believe I even thought like that. It was, I don't need to know what you're earning or you're making. I just want to know where you want to take this business or what you want out of this business. And I think that was maybe the fear of them going, wait a minute, why are you asking what I earn? Now, after all these years, I realise how important that is, because that puts the mind at ease and sets them at rest a little bit, or it gives them a realistic goal to hit and a target to aim for, which doesn't make them think, and this is nearly said it, mate. I nearly said it. But this stops them from thinking, I need 50 clients. Do you know what I mean? I need this, and this. And it just makes them really focus on, this is what I need to hit break even and profit. This is how many sessions it needs to be. So now I can really focus on building a service and having products within my business, which is the right products and the right service to provide, rather than I just need to get people to buy.
And initially, pretty much what you've done there is try and identify their vision off the bat and say, right, here's your stepping stones, here's your checkpoint. And it might not even necessarily have sat in your head and gone, right, that's how I'm thinking, that's what I want to get. This is what I'm going into this conversation to do. Mm-hmm. But it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, right, let's understand what you're thinking, where you want to go, what your vision is, what your aims are, and then let's build out those stepping stones. So your vision might be to give women confidence and to have a safe space for them to train in, right? That could be the vision. How does that look? How can we create that? How can we then reverse engineer to get towards that? Because then again, in 10 years time, what a safe space for that target market to train in, based off technology, based off culture, it could be completely different. But because that's the vision, you're constantly going to start to think, right, what can I use that's new to get closer to that?
Then what that helps with as well, mate, that helps with marketing and how they market themselves and what they do. Do you know what I mean? So then it's what it starts to do, then it starts to get the cogs turning and it starts to open up, not their head, but it opens the mind up to seeing the possibility of what products they need and who to target, when to post a post on social media, when to trigger keywords and what words to actually say and put in the promotions that they talk about and stuff like that. And this is things that that gets missed right off the bat, right at the
Yeah.
start.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
and it's simpler and this easier. It's because they don't think to ask them questions of themselves, like what we talked about earlier, right at the very start. And sometimes it'll take, well, for me, it was a year and a half. Do you know what I mean? Before, as a PT, before I thought, wait a minute, does this solve the problems of these individuals that I'm trying to get? What individuals am I trying to get?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, who are buying into me? What am I trying to build here? And it was a year before I even thought like that.
You don't get taught that, do you? Let's be honest. Coming into the industry, most people are coming to the industry. We've said it already, because maybe you've got a sporting background, you enjoy sport, you enjoy being around the gym, you enjoy that environment. How can I turn that into a career? No one ever sits down with you and says, right, what's your vision? Where do you want to go? Why do you want to do that? How are you going to do that? No one ever sits down with you and talks through those things, especially as you're going, like we've said, going through courses and stuff. Obviously, that's the majority of courses won't do that, and that's just how it is. Obviously, on ours, we're really, really focused on setting people up to come into the industry and have longevity. There's stats left, right, and centre that I'm sure both of us could pull out, and it's the picture isn't pretty sometimes. For how long people come in and last in the industry. So part of that is because people don't fully understand what it is that they're coming into, and that they are going to be running a business, and that they are going to have to look at things that they don't enjoy doing. Like, mate, if you're sending me to maths every single week, I hate you wouldn't think that now, seeing me on a spreadsheet, I know, but but in school, mate, absolutely hated it. I couldn't stand it, could not stand it. And it's, to be fair, it's only because the formulas and the spreadsheets do it for me that I'm all right with it now. But you've got to have that side of you to run a business. You've got to be able to look at numbers and figures and spot trends and see whether actually you're making the right money that you want to make. And I think that does come off the back of having the direction that you want to go in, because then you're going to know whether it's one that makes sense. And I think if you are going to call it a just cause, you're going to get people that rally round and jump in and want to be a part of that and want to be involved in that because it lights that fire within them. It's the same as us, isn't it? Like, whenever you meet a PT that actually genuinely absolutely lights up with passion for helping people, or getting people to change their lives and get rid of habits and not get rid of habits, but to tweak the habits that they've got and create new habits over the top of some that they've had for a long time. Like, you feel yourself light up and buzz off that, and then everyone wants to be a part of it. So people will flock and people will follow that then. And like you say, people are willing to sacrifice then, regardless of whether you scale your business or you don't scale your business. It's still something that matters. Again, I'm going to say, in my opinion, because
it's always a matter of opinion.
Yeah,
it
is. It is.
Oh, mate. What was it I was going to say then? I was watching, because obviously, don't read that much. I was watching a little bit about Steve Jobs and talking about ideas and how many ideas he gets, and that sometimes all them ideas mess him up a little bit.
Yeah.
And mate, I've written it down. This is how much I wanted to say it on here, to be fair. So and sometimes it can overcomplicate stuff, is what he's saying. So you'll have one idea at first, and that'll be, oh, that's great, I need to run with that. But then off the back of that idea, because you're so passionate about it and your mind's running 10 to the dozen, you start to think of another idea, and then something else and something else, and you're smiling because that's what you do, and then you start to plan for that one, and start to write for that one, and start to do something for that one. And if you just strip it back, and like, because I'm a simple guy, basics, strip it right back to basics, uncomplicate it, and just focus on that one thing at hand. And I think this is a big thing to chat about a little bit, because a lot of people that want to start a business, or start the PT business, or a small shop, or a private gym that they're just starting to open, that's the thing that they go with. but then they start to expand. I need to do classes. I need to do this. I need to put that on. I need to do this. I need to do that. Strip it back. Do you know what I mean? That one idea that you've got, strip it back to basics. Go back to what we just said at the start of this: is who are you doing it for? What are the needs? How are you going to bring them in? And does it solve is this a service that solves the problem of these guys? And then start to create some stepping stones or put yourself on that ladder for that. And then once that takes off and that starts to go, then we start to look at something else. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, 100. Yeah, definitely. And I think then if you have sat and spent time on thinking, right, what's my I know I keep repeating vision, but what is my vision for this business? All you've got to do then is sit there and say, is this getting me closer to that vision? Isn't it really? Again, we'll bring Kodak back up, but them sitting there, like all of their top brass CEOs, whoever it is, even right the way down to people on the shop floor, is what I'm doing here, is this idea going to make photography more accessible for the majority of people? Yes or no? If it is, then great. You're advancing your just cause. You're advancing. You're getting closer towards that aim that you've got. And I think again, for me, that vision just encompasses it all. And if you can get enough time and spend some time in really digging deep and understanding what that means, and it doesn't just have to be a fancy mission statement or a fancy, because again, that's buzzwords, isn't it? Like creating a mission statement and writing stuff down to give yourself direction. Like if only if it truly means something, is it worth doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Only then, because otherwise you're not going to be able to use that for what it's for, and that's to ultimately give you direction with what it is that you're trying to bring into your business.
There
you go.
I don't know why I said spot on there. I have a few stupid things that I say, you know, when I'm thinking, oh, I like that. That's decent, that.
Cheers, mate. No,
I say that's spot on, that. And I say sweet.
Sweet.
Mate, I've got a couple of rascal ones. I don't even know. Do you know what I mean?
It's like fillers, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You just
it is.
Trying to fill it a little bit while you're red sticking.
I think because my head works a little bit slower than everyone else's. So like while you're flying, my head's catching up, or somebody will say something and I'll buzz off it, and I'm still buzzing, and they're on to the fifth thing. You know what I mean? It's like when we text.
To be fair, mate, any group chat's no good for you, is it? Let's be honest.
You'll send me 8 messages, and in those 8 messages, I've responded to 1. And then what do I do?
Ring me.
It's too hard. It's too much, mate. I can't get it from here down onto there that quick, so it's easier for me to say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a minute, mate.
What was I going to say then about? You was just chatting about mission statement then.
Yeah.
And when people write them, I think people find it dead hard to even know what one is. And I know you broke it down loads there. And depending on what, like you said, depending on what it is, what they're building, and if it's a business and you want people to be part of it, and you want to build a culture and a community, your mission statement's got to have stuff in it like quantitative, so a number of we. So you maybe want to start something with like we or us, our, because you're bringing people along and getting people involved. Then you've got competitive. I don't know, for me, I wouldn't really use competitive based stuff. I'm the best. We're number one.
Yeah, I agree. I think you tend to then look too much at like.
Yeah.
There's a theory of what's called having a worthy rival, which is someone that you can, rather than seeing you as competing with them all the time, have a look at someone who you see as a worthy rival. So that might be someone that is another PC in your facility. That might be like, rather than seeing them as competition, have a look for worthy rivals. What I mean by that is people that are in the same sector, in the same space, in the same business almost as yourself, and that are being successful and that are seeing results and are doing good things, because all that's ever going to do then is inspire you to keep moving forwards. And you haven't got to beat them, because it's not like there's no competition. What game do you win? Do you know what I mean? If you let's be honest, if we got out of bed for the next 50 years, every single day, there'll be a lot of businesses that are running now that aren't running in that space of time. So at some point, like, let's be honest, you're never going to win. You don't get a medal, do you? Like, you might get an award for having a good year or whatever else it is, but you're not going to get a medal that says you've won. Like, it's not a game of chess. It's not a game of Monopoly. It's not a game of checkers or snakes and ladders or whatever.
That's my game, that one there.
Snakes and ladders. But you don't
you're
know,
right.
do you?
Yeah, you're right, though, because, like, and it's like what you said about vision. Like, with that vision, that should keep on growing. Yeah. So when you get close to or near, or you hit that first vision that you've got to be looking to broaden it and look for the next level and the next step.
I understand why people lean on we need to be better than the competition, or we want to be the best in this market. Like, I can understand where that comes from, and I think it's potentially maybe at times misguided, because they see it from a numbers point of view. Like, we want to have the best numbers, which is great. Like, that's an indicator, isn't it? Really, that's an indicator of how well you do in those numbers are. But if you really strip that back and say, right, am I getting closer to making fitness professionals have better lives and achieving longevity in their careers? Yes, I am. That's my real indicator. Have I done it enough in this last year? Possibly not. But over the last 10 years, have we done that? In the next 10 years, are we going to do that even more? So I think it just gives you more and more and more scope then to assess the business and decide whether it is going in the direction you want it to go in. But again, like, seeing those people as people that you can learn off, like we've worked in teams, we've worked amongst peers in the industry, and there's always, we've said it on the last few episodes, there's always something that you can learn from someone else, always. But if your obsession is to beat other people, I think sometimes then you don't necessarily make the right decision, so to speak. You'll make the decision to beat them rather than the decision that's going to have the best outcome, whether that's ethically, whether that's financial, like from whatever standpoint. I think that is going to affect your decision making if all you're focusing on is beating someone else. Like,
that was me that when I first started PT.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
From the start, when I wasn't getting no clients, when I started to pick clients up, I started to look at who people thought was the best PT, and this is somebody who had the most sessions or the most clients. It was back then, and my target number was that higher than the number that they had. Do you know what I mean? So everything around that then was, as somebody'd walk in the door, I'm making that my client. And then it wasn't based on goal setting. It wasn't based on anything other than just being competitive and wanting people to say that I'm better than them, based on a number, like you said. It's based on a number that's not, that doesn't really mean anything. Do you get what I mean?
Not in the like, let's be fair, mate. In 10 years' time, that number's just a number, isn't it? From 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? But how they feel, whether they're enjoying their life, whether they're able to fully appreciate what they've got going on around them, whether they're able to see people grow up that maybe lives in their household or that they're bringing up, or whatever angle that might be. That's the stuff that matters, mate. That's the stuff that is what you should be getting out of bed for.
And that's longevity then. That stays.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took me a while, mate, to understand that. And I remember actually going back to the drawing board. Sound clever when I say stuff like that, but I remember just getting a piece of paper out. That's pretty much my drawing board, mate. Getting a piece of paper out. And I did 3 circles, and these 3 circles was I did because I was looking. I pretty much went straight back to the beginning, stripped it right back. I've got all these clients now, and there's ones that they're not getting a good service. They just came. Well, I got them because I wanted to have more than that individual. You know what I mean? So what I did was I reevaluated everything, and I looked and I was like, right, if money was no object, and I was starting my business from scratch, here's 3 pots. this is keep, 100% keep, because these are the type of people that I want to coach, I can help, and is part of what I've come into the industry for and want to do. This is a maybe, because I'm not too sure. And then this was, if money was no object, nothing was an issue, I'd get rid of them tomorrow and I'd put them in that pot. And out of the what was it, 35 clients that I had, there was 18 in get rid of. And if I go back, then I blamed all them for them not getting results. But really, mate, it was me.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I didn't bring them in for the right reasons. So what I did there was I then sent these guys, referred them to other PTs within the gym who matched them better or suited them. And then with the guys that I wanted to keep, I started again. And then I looked at the service and I went straight back. And I think that was like a year and a half in, after going from struggling, not knowing how to get people, understanding, building relationships and rapport with people and looking at long-term goals and stuff. And then getting clouded by that. Just again, touching on what I said about Steve Jobs, the thing that I started to think about was having more than anybody else. And that did me no good. It did them no good. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So once I did that, I think what that did, it helped me in the role that I'm in now, because it's helped me look at things and assess things a little differently when I sit with somebody and they're chatting about the business.
Yeah, very, very similar. I remember when I first came into commercial environments and was experiencing commercial environments. We touched on it previously in the intro episode, but my route into commercial facilities I'd never been in those environments really, where it was, I need more than you, or I need this, or I need that to be better or to be the best or whatever. It wasn't that environment really. So going into that first interview that I had, I won't name the company obviously, but going into an interview, and I remember sitting there and being asked about my PT business and how I would take what I'd learned and what I'd performed and what I'd done into supporting other PTs, and getting asked the question, how many clients have you got? And I'm sitting there and I was like, well, average around 10. And the look on their face was like I was useless. Do you know what I swear it was like, you can't be that good then. Surely you averaging around 10 clients. Well, yeah, but you've not asked me how many times a week I see them. You've not asked me how much what my service is built on. You've not asked me what my pricing is built on. You've not asked me what results they're getting. It was just literally that, right? How many are you on? Sound. And like it stuck with me because I'd never experienced that. Like I'd never ever experienced that. Like that whole you've got to have 40 clients, you've got to have 30 clients. To be a good PT, you've got to have 30 clients or 40 clients. Like, it was a little bit alien to me, and that was only because, again, fortunately, the environment and the people I'd been around had never really looked at it that way. Although, again, I could spend 1,000,001 hours talking about all the mistakes that we all made right in the beginning, because you do, don't you? But I think that was a massive one for me, because that it didn't align to what I thought my PC business was there to do. And ultimately, again, having other people look at you in a way that's like, or questioning you, I found really intriguing and interesting. And then only once I got my foot in the door and I was in that environment did I start to realise why and understand why, and tweak things and change things and hopefully impart some knowledge with other people that made it not that way. So, but yeah, I think that is a major one, isn't it? I think you can get preoccupied with beating the competition and just trying to be better than everyone else. But ultimately, what does that even match where you want to take your business and the ideas you've got? Not just for your business, because we talk about your business a lot, but does that align with your life? Like, does that match what you want to get out of your life, what your beliefs are, what your belief systems are, and what legacy you want to leave behind, I suppose?
Yeah, massive. We've not even touched on like long-term goal, what they're coming into the industry for, what they're doing it for, because that usually then reflects the type of individual that they enjoy training, or the reason why they came into the industry is because of the journey that they've been on, and they want to give people the same buzz of what they've had in their journey and stuff like that. And then that, I think that there, when we deliver courses and stuff like that for me helps me help them find their path. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
think that's the firelighter, isn't it? I suppose if you've got like, say, use an analogy, you've got your barbecue, haven't you? You know that you want a really tasty burger at the end of it with your quarter pounder on there, your salad on there, your lettuce on there, and you want to feel like you're enjoying yourself and you're in an environment. But then you need something to light the fire to be able to cook it, to be able to get you to where it is. And that is the why, isn't it, really, is what you're touching on there. And even then, how you identify that and how you quantify that and how you understand that why is completely different. I mention him all the time, but Simon Sinek's someone who massively speaks about those two things. And I think sometimes you can get mixed up between your vision and your why, like they are separate. Your vision is where you want to go almost, and what the aim is, and then your why is what's getting you out of bed to go and get there. And even then, that you need the two, don't you, really, mate?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's something that I harp on about, and anybody that's sat with me, and that's the one thing that I dig on about the most. What gets you out of bed, the why. It's always a big thing, because when you have them days, mate, I've had one today, and a day where I can't be asked, my head's gone, and I always then think about why am I doing this? Why do I have to get out of bed? Why do I have to? And then that gets you out, and then it leads then to the vision, is why I'm getting out, where I'm going to, and it's not rocket science, is it, mate?
Well, mine's legacy, isn't it? You've heard me say it 1,000,001 times, but mine's leaving a legacy. Won't go into all of the details of that, but to leave a legacy for the next generation, the little ones that are coming through, that's mine. And I always try and liken it a little bit to when you're sitting there with a potential client or a lead or someone who's sat across the table from you, and you can look at it and say, right, chocolate cake. Not that I've got anything against chocolate cake, absolutely love chocolate cake, but chocolate cake or an overeating on chocolate cake or a number on a scale, what's going to win? Overeating on chocolate cake, right? You're just going to smash that chocolate cake, isn't you? Let's be fair, it's sat there, that's going to win. But if you can then get them to understand the vision of where they want to get to, and then dig into that why. So your vision is to feel more confident, to inspire other people around you, and to live a life that is fulfilled and inspires others, as an example. If they're then sitting there saying, right, my why, the reason I want to do that is because actually I want to see my children grow up, and the doctors told me if I carry on how I'm going, I'm not going to get there. Then you've got overeating and overindulging on chocolate cake versus seeing the people I love most in my life grow up. There's only winner there, isn't there? Yeah. But the difference, and that is a massive, massive difference for PTs to start to get their head around when they are sat in a consultation or they are taking people through whatever onboarding process that they have with leads or potential clients. Like, how does that look? Have you even sat down and understood what their vision looks like? Do you know enough about them to know what's going to light their fire to help them get towards it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a funny one, that your why, but I think again,
that's one in itself we could do in it, to be fair.
You don't get taught that stuff, though. You don't get taught that stuff, and it's only from experience and making mistakes and thinking, as you said there, you had those X amount of clients that you blame them for not getting their results, when maybe if you would have understood those different, and exactly the same for me, mate. Like, we've all sat there and we've all been PTs that have sat there and said, they just don't want it enough, or that old chestnut which is funnily enough winds us up when we hear it now, but guaranteed we both said it at some
most definitely.
do you know what I mean? So it's that It's that can be the difference really in actually understanding whether you're truly there to aspire to a vision that is bigger than yourself. It's there for others to get involved in and to get amongst, or whether it's just a short-term thing. And that again is going to reflect in your business, isn't it?
Mate, this is going to kill you, this, right? But I've just, honestly, it is.
Mate, my heart's going now. Don't do that to me.
I've just thought of something, right? And I'm going to ask it, but we'll both answer it. Go back to you when you first started.
Yeah.
And you're listening to us now. What are you thinking?
I'd be thinking, I don't know. And mate, the reason I'm thinking this is because I was looking around at other people thinking the same thing. I don't have a Scooby-Doo what I'm doing here. I haven't got a clue. I'm miles away. That's never going to be me. That's probably one of the things that I used to think quite a lot. Like, how are these guys at that level? How do they know? How do they even remember this stuff? Where have they even looked at it? Like, how have they even kept it on board? That's definitely what I was thinking, mate. And if I was sat here listening to me now, and I was a brand new PT, then I'd probably be mind blown, and I'd probably have to listen to this about 50 times to work through bits and pieces. But even then, like you say, it's worth doing, isn't it? You're only going to get better, and there's no judgment in it.
Mate,
yeah.
Mine would think, these two are full of shit. Do you know why, though? Because I was so arrogant, mate. I would have just been like, don't you worry, mate, I'll sort it out. That's it, but that is exactly what my head would have said. Like, don't worry, listen, they're just talking. They've not experienced it. They're just bookworms. They've read it all. Do you know what I mean? That's how my head used to think.
Yeah.
That's why I asked it, because we was talking about our experiences and how bad we was, and like never for 1 second did I think I would be bad.
But you don't know. You don't. It's like it's called ethical failing, isn't it? Like you sit there and you adjust a narrative to blur over what you believe. Like no one gets out of bed every day and thinks I'm shit at my job. No one does that. No one does that, do they? And it comes down to you don't know what you don't know. Like at the end of the day, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's both of us sitting here now with 20 odd years experience between the both of us in the industry, more than 20 years experience between the both of us. Like there's still a lot of stuff that you can learn from every day, and that's part of the reason that we put this podcast together, was to learn from people in different sectors and different positions and share that knowledge with other guys. So it's never, the game never ends. It goes on forever, and like I say, the longer you're in it, the better it will be.
Yeah, most definitely.
But no, yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear you. There's many a PT that will be thinking like you, many a PT that will be thinking like I would.
Most definitely. I've just thought, when it popped in my head, I just thought it'd be good to just throw it out there, just because I know exactly, we're so different. We're so similar.
Yeah.
And like our two, like, I don't know, what did you say, younger selves, like it would have, I just knew in my head, it would have been two total sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like one, you know, like when you got that one falling asleep at the back of the class.
But I'll be honest, mate, I wouldn't have been listening, because I would have been listening to In the Club or PIMP or something like that. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly.
Mate, just before we wrap up, I'm. Do you know what tickled me the other day when you messaged in the group about the football team for your missus?
Okay,
like,
yeah.
No help, and then like a good mate of ours, another mentor, you've sent yours. Right, so I'll tell it properly, to be fair, because I'm saying it all broken up. So what Dan did was, he sent a message in a WhatsApp group, in a lads WhatsApp group, saying, if you're into football, you've got to get your missus to name a manager and then your 11 players, goalkeeper down to striker. You can't give her no help, no assistance. You've just got to pick the formation, and then she's just got to say players' names, managers' names in the order of wherever they say it, and then you've got to put the team together. So Dan, you did yours, sent it through. It wasn't bad, was it, mate?
No, it's decent, mate. There's some goals in that team, mate. Absolute goals all over.
There was mad random ones in there, like Nigel Winterburn. Like,
it's a good one.
Yeah, right.
That's because we met him. That is, mate. We went down to London and we met him. So that one's obviously
so it's stuck in the head.
Yeah.
So I did mine, and mine was all right, wasn't it? To be fair.
Yeah. Decent.
Claudio Ranieri. And she did well, to be fair, but I don't shut up about it. And she hears it all the time. So I knew. I was a bit gutted that she couldn't find a left back, but she said she was trying to get Gail Clichy, but she just went that skinny one with a cut under it. She was running up and down for City. She didn't know who it was. And then, and then Bazza put down on his. He said to his missus to name the manager, first manager, and she said Alex Ferdinand. After that,
put it straight in the bin, wasn't it? After that, she just gave up.
But it would be good for other people to try that out. And if you've got either of our Instagrams, and we should pop it on the end of the East, to be fair. If you've got our Instagrams, direct message us and tell us what your other half has picked. Or if you're a female, because I know we're slating females that know football here. We're saying that they don't know nothing. If you think you know a bit, then
get it on there, mate. To be fair, there'll be some good sides, I think. Hopefully, it'd be good to hear them. Actually,
it'll be class. It'll be class. But it tickled me that I was like, that was Saturday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, mate. Yeah,
but mate.
I don't know if it was Saturday night. All the days just merge into one at the minute, but yeah.
That it ripped me off that, and it was just class. I just thought I'd share it, mate, because it was top.
Cool. Happy?
Yeah, mate. Done and dusted.
Yeah. Good. So appreciate you all jumping on and listening again. Hopefully you've got some information and some really good ideas off the back of today's podcast. Please do comment, catch up with us, send us your ideas. If you want any support on how to build out your vision for your businesses, just give us a shout. And other than that, we will catch you next time. Thanks again. See you soon.
See you in a bit.